Part 28. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 281. Resident Evil 7? XM. Is this game 2D? Susiener looked confused. Although the 3D technology in the world she traveled through was developed, all the technical applications were deviated due to the style of painting and the influence of the comic circle. Many game companies all prefer muscle style, which is a strange thing about this world. Every time she was alone, Susiener wondered whether the people in this world had lost their minds. They couldn't even do basic sketching, and their painting style was so deviated. Of course, she sometimes wonders if there is a god that punches the people in this world in the head, so the painting style has always been in a state of deviation, just for her to save them. However, she just thought about it. Although time travel changed her from an atheist to a theist, she was still dubious before meeting him. It's not 2D, it's 3D. When it comes to the game Biochemical 7, I have to thank you, Teacher Miobi. Mr. Lan felt a little weird when he said this. He looked at Susiener, who was just over 1.5 meters tall, and shouted teacher with a wonderful pen. It was okay that we had never met before, but looking at Susiener's appearance now, it felt a bit wrong to call her Teacher Miobi. Thank me. Yes, this game was originally going to be released more than half a year ago, but because of you, the style of the game returned to normal, so Capcom remade the game and turned it into a 3D game. When Susiener heard this, the corner of her mouth twitched. The island nation is gone, but Capcom still exists. It exists as long as it exists, and it even made a biochemical series. Thinking about it, Susiener couldn't help but sigh and said, "Can we change the game to play this?" Mr. Lan was a little embarrassed, because Resident Evil 7 is the most popular game recently, so I think it would be better to live broadcast this game, and I was notified before that I wanted to live broadcast with you, so I played it several times again. Something went wrong with the province's live broadcast. Originally, she didn't have this habit, but Chen Rui called her personally and told her that this live broadcast was very important, so it was best not to embarrass herself during the live broadcast. Mr. Lan simply cleared Biochemical 7 in private. The most important thing is that Chen Rui said something very solemnly. The purpose of letting you appear in this live broadcast is to gain your popularity, but the person in charge is still Teacher Miobi, so even if the game is played, it is still played by Teacher Miobi. You just need to provide a little guidance from the side. Don't put the cart before the horse. Chen Rui's meaning is very clear. Although it is live broadcast in your live broadcast room and at your home, the person in charge is still Teacher Miobi. Basically, everyone is watching Teacher Miobi, so no matter what game you play, it is best to let when Teacher Miobi plays, you can watch from the sidelines and just be a mascot or NPC. Although this made Lan Xiao feel uncomfortable, she also knew that this was an opportunity for her, and since the opportunity came, she would naturally seize it. In addition, she really wanted to meet Susiener and see what Teacher Miobi, who was so mysterious on the internet, looked like and what kind of person he was. Of course, the most important thing was that their owners also had their own small circle, so they could get she shared this news in the group. Before she made a decision, the group of people forced her to make a decision. They also hoped that she could secretly take pictures of Susiener and send them the photos to make her laugh or cry. That's it. Susiener nodded. It's mainly about live broadcasting other games. I'm afraid your fans won't like it very much. The game Biochemical 7 was released recently, so it has been very popular recently. The most important thing is that the characters in the entire game are very in line with human aesthetic standards and are very real. Of course, Master Lan also wanted to live broadcast a horror decryption game, but when she saw the number of people in the live broadcast room, she immediately stopped thinking about it. She has not broadcast live in a live broadcast room with more than 20 million people, even if it is very likely to be a media broadcast. The proportion of the number of people is terrifying enough. Of course, the most important thing is that Resident Evil 7 is a standalone masterpiece. There are many people who like it and there are many fans. If you live broadcast the horror decryption minigame, although you will be very curious when you first watch it, many people who don't like it will probably leave. Master Lan didn't want to do a failed live broadcast, nor did she want to take the blame, so she decided to live broadcast Biochemical 7. Of course, she wanted to ask Susienner about the live broadcast before, but she couldn't get in touch before, and Chen Rui contacted her at that time. At that time, it was said that the live broadcast could be anything, because today's live broadcast was mainly to promote as a lane. Thinking about this, Mr. Lan looked at the figures placed in the center of the table. He still looked strange. Since he wanted to promote as a lane, why did Hank not mention as a lane during the live broadcast? Then you can play the game later and I'll be there. No, upon hearing this, Mr. Lan flatly refused. Seeing Susienner's confusion, he couldn't help but explain. Director Chen said, "Let you play." What a fart. What game is not good to play? Horror games. Or Biochemical 7. There was already news about Biochemical 7 in her previous life before she traveled through time, but it didn't come out until she traveled through time, so she didn't know the plot direction of this game at all, which meant that she had never played it. And even if she could play this game in her previous life, Susienner would not play it. Because, she is afraid of ghosts. Or maybe she's afraid of these horrible things. It's not that she has become less courageous because she traveled through time and became a girl. This is nonsense, but she has always been afraid of horror games. If she hadn't already arrived at Master Ian's house, she probably would have known that she was with Mr. Lan at the door of her community. She wouldn't even come over if Mr. Lan was broadcasting together. In her previous life, she was very bold as a child, but when she grew up, she was afraid of two things: illusory cows, ghosts, snakes, gods, and creatures with many legs. These are the two types of things she is most imaginary, afraid of, and terrified of. Although she is a male, she is still afraid of being afraid, which has something to do with men and women. Now let her play Resident Evil 7 and play with the zombies inside. Doesn't this make her die? Although she didn't know the plot of Resident Evil 7, the 4 words Resident Evil represented horror. Susienner said nothing, looking depressed. How many people are there in the live broadcast room now? If there are not many people, she will post on Weibo and say that the show will be broadcast next time and that she has something to do today. Although he was asking, Susienner was sitting in front of the computer and opened the live broadcast room. He couldn't help but take a breath. More than 30 million people online? Are there really that many people? Before she could respond, Chen Rui called. Teacher Miyobi must not make any mistakes in tonight's live broadcast. There are now more than 30 million people in the live broadcast room. This is the real number of people. Of course I knew this was the real number of people. Looking at the terrifying barrage, she knew that if the audience didn't block the barrage, they probably wouldn't be able to see what they were broadcasting. Of course, before this happens, the computer will probably freeze. Susienner looked at the screen numbly, listening to Chen Rui's words in her ears. She interrupted directly and asked, "Why are there so many people?" She just posted on Weibo, "What happened to tens of millions of people?" Even if the real Uranus superstar broadcasts live, there won't be that many people. Because online stars and anchors are completely different groups. So the last time Asada Saori did a live broadcast on DouYu, the number of people in the live broadcast room was more than 30 million, I heard that the number ratio was adjusted. There were so many people now, and she couldn't escape even if she wanted to. 1/2. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 282. Susienner was half depressed. She wanted to retire and let her fans down. But this is not the way of absconding before live broadcast. Because this is a live broadcast of Station B, Weibo notifications and other things have been sent out. If we don't come to the live broadcast by then, I'm afraid it will be a big blow to the credibility of Station B, and it may also be implicated in the release of your name. Finally, she doesn't want to make her pen name bad. What if I have no money in the future? Of course I want to make money using this pen name. You are such a wonderful teacher. The people from the propaganda department analyzed your current situation and it seems that it is because of the problem you just posted on Weibo. Chen Rui smiled bitterly. You said on Weibo that you wanted to show up. Alright. Susiener was relieved. Also, the influence of the song selection competition is the greatest at this time. Your Weibo fans are still increasing. Now the new fans are the most curious about you and it is also the most popular time. Not to mention your previous death. I am a loyal fan. In addition, you have not shown up before, so the mystery is too high, and you only broadcast live once. It was very interesting at the time. Now your fans are naturally looking forward to your second live broadcast after so long. Chen Rui analyzed the reasons for the large number of people for Susiener bit by bit. Of course, your book has been in a state of interruption. It has not been updated for almost half a year. I guess the fans of your book can't wait. Yes, and there seems to be internal news that Book of Life and Death will be made into a movie version and a TV series version. I don't know if it was revealed by Tencent Animation or it is a rumor. Anyway, these are added together to show the current explosive number of people. Of course, the main reason is that Teacher Miyobi, you don't have much communication with fans, and everyone is very curious about you, plus Sujig's popularity. Chen Rui said a lot, and Susiener finally understood. Thinking about it, Susiener sighed and said, I understand, there are still 10 minutes until the live broadcast, so I won't talk to you anymore and hang up. Teacher Miyobi, please don't mention the words as Elaine during the live broadcast. The propaganda department has its own plan, Chen Rui reminded again. I know, I will concentrate on playing the game. Looking at the icon of Resident Evil 7 on the desktop, Susiener swallowed her saliva and said, by the way, how are the rewards from the live broadcast room divided? I should have money to share. We are already playing horror games, so what if we don't make more money? Hearing this, Chen Rui smiled slightly and said, Teacher Miyobi will share 80% of the rewards in tonight's live broadcast room, and the remaining 20% will be distributed separately by Station B and Mr. Lan. Susiener was just about to ask how Station B and Mr. Lan allocated it, but after thinking about it, she decided not to ask. Since Mr. Lan agreed to the live broadcast, it must have been negotiated. Thinking of this, Susiener hung up her phone directly on the grounds that the live broadcast was about to start. ZJ Hangzhou, Peach Blossom Land. Greentown Peach Garden, with its natural surroundings of mountains and rivers, is one of the lowest density villa parks in China. Wang Zhongxian lives here. As the world's richest man, Wang Zhongxian is busy most of the time, but he will also have free time. Even if he doesn't, he will squeeze it out. Making money is no longer the purpose. Money is just a number to him. Now he is still working like a machine. He is responsible for his employees and the industry he has worked hard for. At this time, Wang Zhongxian was lying on a deck chair in the courtyard, like an ordinary old man entering old age, squinting and staring at the bright moon in the sky in a daze. Of course, he was in a daze, but the mobile phone next to his ear betrayed him. Toot toot. When the sound of being rejected came again, Wang Zhongxian looked helpless. Then his phone vibrated and he opened it. Stop calling. Teacher Miyobi's live broadcast will start soon. Let's talk after the live broadcast. Daughter. Wonderful pen. This name made him dazed for a moment, and then he remembered a cartoonist whose daughter had spent 10 million yuan to reward him. Of course, when he learned about the situation later, he didn't pay too much attention. Just knowing that the cartoonist named Myobi is a girl is enough. Since she is a girl, he is not worried that his daughter will be abducted. Thinking of this, Wang Zongxian's heart moved, and he lay on the chair and shouted, "Xiao Li, help me take out the computer." "Okay, sir." After a while, Butler Li, who had been following Wang Ziman a few days ago, came to the courtyard with his laptop. "Don't leave either, sit down and watch together." "Okay, sir," Butler Li responded respectfully. Wang Zhongxian turned on the computer and asked, "Is Ziman okay in the company?" "It's okay, but the company no longer belongs to the lady." Wang Zhongxian paused with his finger on the computer and asked softly, "What's going on?" "The lady gave away my Hoyo to a cartoonist named Myobi." Wang Zhongxian's face twitched. Although he didn't care about money, he was still very resistant to prodigal behavior. However, Wang Ziman was his only daughter and had been doting on her since childhood. Now he couldn't control this personality. What happens after that? The young lady didn't even see that wonderful writer after that. When Butler Li said this, he was still a little bit dumbfounded. It was an assistant named Chen Shui who came to discuss the transfer of the company. No one has seen it, so the company just gave it away. It's okay for a daughter to worship an idol, but she can't blindly worship her. That's right. It's been several days now, but I haven't seen anyone. It seems that the lady wanted to see that Myobi, but was evaded. Interesting. Wang Zhongxian remembered the information about Myobi that his assistant had helped him to find. He knew that this girl had never shown her face since her debut and was very mysterious. Now she was playing with his daughter. However, he learned that the other party was also going to Huaxia Conservatory of Music. Maybe she and his daughter would be alumni in the future, so he didn't ask much. He hoped that his daughter could make friends, but this Myobi seemed to be very resistant to his daughter. Thinking of this, Wang Zhongxian opened Bilibili. He was now curious about Myobi. What kind of charm did the other party have that could make his daughter addicted? Of course, what really made Wang Zhongxian curious was some information about the ACK industry that his assistant had helped him to find before. Judging from the information, the reason why the ACK industry was so developed this year was basically due to Myobi, and the other party was just a girl. This made people curious, so Wang Zhongxian wanted to see what kind of girl Myobi was. He turned on the computer, entered the B station, and then found the live broadcast room. After clicking in, what caught his eye was a dense barrage of comments, without any gaps. He could not see anyone at all, which surprised Wang Zhongxian. He looked at the number of people in the live broadcast room and squinted his eyes. More than 50 million? What are the room managers doing? Didn't they see that the comment just now was insulting? Why didn't they block him? They actually used A to describe me. It's really unreasonable. Ahem, Mr. Myobi, the comment that just described you as a lowly in red font was the room manager, because only the font sent by the room manager is red. Before Wang Zhongxian and Butler Li could react, they saw that the comments suddenly turned into 233333333. Two halves. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 283. With 5 minutes left before the live broadcast, Susienner was not nervous, but Lan Xiao was a little embarrassed. Sitting next to Susienner, she swallowed her saliva while watching the black screen of the live broadcast room with more than 40 million viewers. Although Susienner looked normal, she felt guilty. What should she do later? She had to play Resident Evil 7. If she knew the plot direction in her previous life, it would be fine, then she could know which parts were scary and which parts were not scary. In this way, she could avoid it and let the fans know that the teacher they admired, Miobi, was not afraid of horror games. But now, she felt guilty. Google searched Can. Because she had never played horror games in her previous life, and even if someone asked her to play such games, she would spray back when she got the chance. Susiener thought about it and felt that she couldn't be so sensitive. She looked at the time and it was only 2 or 3 minutes. She looked at Lan Xiao next to her and asked, "Lan Xiao, do you know how to cheat for tips?" According to Susiener's idea, it was not easy to live broadcast once. Of course she should cheat readers' tips and make some money. After all, she wanted to play a horror game, and she was willing to risk it once, so how could she not make money? Lan Xiao next to her looked at Susiener wearing a little fox mask, and was confused by this question. In the end, he had to answer truthfully, I don't know, but I know that if the live broadcast is interesting, the audience will give tips. Of course, many female anchors now sell their bodies when they get the chance, but I think you, teacher Miobi, will definitely not do that. Even if she wears a mask and doesn't show her face, how can she show her breasts and thighs? Looking at Susiener's chest, there is not much meat, but Lan Xiao did not gloat over her misfortune, because she is also very flat. Seeing Susiener's depressed face, Lan Xiao knew that the other party must be dissatisfied with her answer, so he could only helplessly say, in fact, there is no difference between the anchor and the author. As long as the author updates frequently and the plot reaches a climax, readers will give rewards. The same is true for the anchor. As long as the live broadcast is interesting and can make the audience happy and joyful, it is possible to get rewards. Is that so? Susiener thought about it and felt that she was not suitable to be an anchor at all, because she would not please anyone. Miobi teacher is at 7 o'clock. Oh. When Susiener was confused, Lan Xiao took the mouse, took a deep breath, then opened the live broadcast software, clicked OK, and started the live broadcast. When Lan Xiao clicked the live broadcast, the tens of millions of viewers waiting in the live broadcast room suddenly felt bright, then a lot of people were instantly stuck, and a large number of new viewers poured into the live broadcast room, many of whom came on time. And many smart people have already blocked the barrage, because they think that in this case, the barrage must be turned off, otherwise, how can they see Miobi teacher? When the live broadcast room lit up, the audience who didn't freeze saw 2 people. One was a fair-skinned, short-haired lady with a slightly hurried look, but she quickly returned to normal and said hello, "Hey, hello, I'm Lan Xiao." After saying that, seeing that Susiener didn't say anything, she quickly pointed at the other party with her hand. Huh, Susiener looked at Lan Xiao in confusion, and when she saw that the other party winked at her, she couldn't help wondering, why, the live broadcast started. Halfway through the words, Susiener also reacted and quickly said hello, everyone, I'm Miobi. Wow, so embarrassing. Fortunately, Susiener was wearing a mask, otherwise she would definitely show an awkward but polite smile. However, as Susiener's fans, at this moment, they seemed to be deceived in their hearts. "Miobi, you big asshole, where did you say you would show your face?" "Show your face, no problem, I kneel down to Miobi, you are worthy of being the author of Book of Life and Death, your writing is so good. Push for more, urge for more. When will the Suxian series be updated, Miobi, give me a definite answer." Damn, Miobi looks really petite, like a loli. I feel seriously deceived, and the title of the live broadcast room is actually promoting Azalane? By the way, what is this Azalane? Is it a game? Miobi, the figurine in front of you, is it the lowly version of Sujug? Please tell me where to buy it, I want to collect it even if I have to sell everything I have. Master Lan, I'll give you a chance, take off the mask of the lowly in front of you. At the beginning of the live broadcast, the barrage of people who were chatting and talking nonsense when the screen was black reached a climax in an instant. Some people have been waiting since Susiener posted on Weibo. Now that Susiener and Lan Xiao have appeared, everyone's waiting emotions are instantly expressed in words. However, Susiener narrowed her eyes and instantly saw the red font barrage. Since she came here, what she hates most is that someone talks about her body shape. What are the room managers doing? Didn't they see the insulting barrage just now? Why don't they block him? They actually use A to describe me, it's really unreasonable. Susiener almost slammed the table. MMP, is it my fault that I have a petite figure? And is it not good to have a petite figure? They actually use A to describe me? However, Lan Xiao took a look and couldn't help but smile awkwardly and politely. Ahem, Mr. Miyobi, the barrage that just described you as a lowly in red font is the room manager, because only the fonts posted by the room manager are red. Puff, 233333333. 233333. The live broadcast room was instantly filled with 2333, and the dense barrage made Lan Xiao feel relieved there was some awkward atmosphere in the air, but now it is much better. And the atmosphere is much more harmonious than before. But at this moment, the barrage suddenly changed direction. Miyobi teacher, please post the Alipay QR code in the live broadcast room. I want to give a reward, but B station should charge a handling fee, right? Yes, Miyobi teacher, please post the QR code quickly and accept the love from us fans. Although it is Miyobi teacher wearing a fox mask, as a fan, I am satisfied. Take your time, show your body this time, and you can show your face next time. It's been a year, and we fans can wait. Lan Xiao looked at these sincere barrages and couldn't help but moved. With such fans, it should be very happy to be a broadcaster, right? However, Susiener looked at the sincerity of the countless comments on the curved screen next to her and sneered, "You guys, don't be delusional. Do you still think I will be fooled? I was almost fooled by you last time, don't try to fool me this time. My Alipay account is my mobile phone. If you know Alipay, won't I be exposed?" Lan Xiao heard this and couldn't help but scream. Although the anchor should be friends with fans, it is not good to talk like this. And Susiener will lose fans if she is suspicious of her fans like this. Captain, your crappy plan has been discovered. It's so embarrassing. Leave the group. It was a perfect plan, but it was discovered by teacher Miyobi in an instant. It's so embarrassing. I give up. Teacher Miyobi's brain circuit is really different from that of normal people. Nonsense, my Miyobi is the one who drew the Book of Life and Death. How can you idiots guess his IQ? MMP, I said this plan is unreliable. Now that teacher Miyobi is alert, what should we do next? There is no way. Teacher Miyobi gave us too little time when notifying us to broadcast live. We can't think of any good solution. It's all teacher Miyobi's fault. That's right, it's all teacher Miyobi's fault. Lan Xiao looked at these comments and her face twitched a little. At this time, she remembered that Susiener had a fan group called the Princess Knights. Although they were usually like a pile of loose sand, Susiener must have been plotting something in the group during this live broadcast, even if the time was very short. However, Lan Xiao always felt something was wrong. This kind of communication and interaction between fans and idols is rare. Susiener didn't care about Lan Xiao's thoughts, and showed a money-grubbing smile under the mask. Okay, I know you like me very much. Since you want to express your love, let's do this. Bilibili has launched a new series of memberships for the Great Navigation series. It costs 200 yuan a month to become a captain, 2,000 yuan a month to become an admiral, and 20,000 yuan a month to become a governor. So many people just wanted to give me rewards, now it's time to test you. Some viewers who often hang out on other live broadcast platforms almost vomited blood when they heard this price. Why is it so much more expensive than other live broadcast platforms? 1/4. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Sheng Wu. Chapter 284. The bug of the top scorer in the last chapter has been fixed. Susiener was still thinking about how to cheat fans' rewards, but she didn't expect these fans to come to her automatically. Exploiting fans is an obligation. Taiwan novel network writer Yanji Shenyang. Since she was fooled in the first live broadcast, Susiener has had a grudge, and now she finally found an opportunity. Of course, the decision to reward or not is naturally in the hands of the fans, but now Susiener doesn't care about these, she just feels comfortable. Besides, she doesn't make a living by her looks or selling meat, she makes money by copying the masterpieces of her previous life. So in her opinion, if this will lose fans, then let it go. Anyway, she doesn't care. Of course, the most important thing is to lose more fans, because she will retire at the end of the month. Shameless little Miobi. How dare a dignified anchor ask for rewards so blatantly? Miobi teacher, if you take off your mask, I will open a governor, and keep my word. As the bullet comments were passing, many people had already recharged directly. Originally, they were fans of Susiener, and they had already prepared to reward them when they came to watch the live broadcast, especially the plan of the head of the group. Although it was discovered by Miobi teacher, they were very satisfied to be able to talk and communicate with Miobi teacher and listen to her gentle voice. Congratulations to Miobi for becoming the captain of this live broadcast room. Congratulations to Tsundere is a disease ZZ for becoming the captain of this live broadcast room. Congratulations to Second Dimension God for becoming the admiral of this live broadcast room. Congratulations to Black Film Mentor for becoming the admiral of this live broadcast room. The dense messages suddenly came out, shocking Lan Xiao on the side. It was the first time she saw so many people opening captains and admirals together. Seeing that the total number of captains and admirals exceeded 10,000 in less than a minute, Lan Xiao swallowed his saliva. How much money is this? Station B itself is not a professional live broadcast platform. There are few local tyrants who spend a lot of money on Station B. As a result, Lan Xiao has witnessed Susiener's influence today. Congratulations to Tomato Scrambled Eggs for becoming the governor of this live broadcast room. When a golden message appeared in the live broadcast room, even the barrage paused for a moment. Worship the rich man who presses 0 at random. I said, how could Tomato Scrambled Eggs miss the live broadcast of Teacher Miobi? It's great to have money. Let's play idioms, I'll go first, do whatever I want. After Wang Ximen opened the governor, it was the first high peak of reward in the live broadcast room tonight. Countless captains and admirals appeared, and several governors would pop up from time to time. People can't help but sigh that money can really do whatever they want. Congratulations to Tomato and Eggs Dad for becoming the governor of this live broadcast room. Poof. Looking at so many captains, admirals and governors in front of the computer, Susiener, who was seeing stars, almost sprayed when she saw this golden message. Now all her fans know that Tomato and Egg is a rich man. After all, Wang Ximen gave a reward of 10 million when Book of Life and Death was finished. Now this person has taken such an ID. Isn't this looking for trouble? Could it be a guy who has a grudge against Wang Ximen? Not only Susiener, but also the audience in the live broadcast room were stunned when they saw this message. Wang Ximen saw this message in his bedroom. After a moment of stunned, his face turned black and he gritted his teeth and said, "Which bastard is this?" Then Wang Ximen looked at the live broadcast room, browsed it and directly rewarded the small TV *100. The appearance of 100 small TVs scared the audience in the live broadcast room. This is more than 120,000. Wang Ximen didn't say anything, but the subconscious was, come on. You loser. How dare he use such a mocking nickname to mock her? He is simply courting death. However, just when everyone was shocked, the father of fried tomato and eggs directly rewarded the small TV *101, just one more than Wang Ximen. This is a fight between gods. Damn, it's so good to have money. The newbie is trembling. Do whatever you want, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. At this time, in the villa courtyard of De Huayuan, housekeeper Li looked at the scene and couldn't help but curiously said, "Master, what are you doing?" "That's right, the father of fried tomato and eggs is Wang Zhongxian. I've limited the limit on Ximen's card. She will be out of money soon," Wang Zhongxian said with a faint smile. "I asked her to go home to see me, her father. She always refuses to do so. Can I go to the devil? How can this be allowed? In this case, let her see how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. When she runs out of money, she will think of me, her father." If Susianer heard what Wang Zhongxian said, she would definitely give a thumbs up. The world's richest man has a different way of thinking. Butler Li was silent. "But I finally know why Ximen is so wasteful." Wang Zhongxian saw Butler Li's doubts and smiled heartily. The feeling of throwing money is not bad. Seeing his daughter continue to give rewards, Wang Zhongxian followed directly, "No more, no less, just one more small TV than Wang Ximen." Wang Zhongxian naturally knew that his current approach was very immature, which did not conform to his values. In the past, he believed that every penny must be spent on the right things. However, when it comes to his daughter, he will put aside these ideas. In his opinion, the education of his daughter is the most important. In the past, Wang Ximen relied on her to do whatever she wanted. If he limits the other party's card, when there is no money, his daughter will probably be confused. At that time, won't she have to go home and visit him as a father? 10 minutes later, Susianer looked numbly at the small TV that had never disappeared since it appeared, and her mouth twitched a little. In these 10 minutes, the two seemed to be stubborn, not sending a message, and kept sending small TVs in the live broadcast room. And the father of scrambled eggs with tomatoes didn't know where he jumped out of, and he kept suppressing Wang Ximen. Anyway, he just wanted to have one more small TV than the other party. And this money-throwing war is not without any effect. For example, the number of people originally exceeded 50 million, and now it has exceeded 60 million, and many people heard that there was a rich man throwing money here, and they rushed to watch. In the past, I always heard that two local tyrants spent a lot of money in a certain live broadcast room to compete for a breath. This time I finally saw it. However, this made Susianer unhappy. What the hell? This is my live broadcast room. Everyone has been watching you give tips for the past 10 minutes. Why are you still broadcasting? Susianer directly stopped this idiotic behavior of competing for wealth. Okay, don't quarrel for me. Let's do this. Since you two are panicking about how much money you have, you two can add me as your friend after I finish the live broadcast. I will give you a bank card number and you can transfer some money to it whenever you want. I will notify you two when the time comes. How about my idea? Isn't it good? Teacher Miobi, you are so shameless. Damn, after watching the competition for wealth for 10 minutes, I finally realized that I am actually a poor guy. Teacher Miobi, I can only give you a captain. Suddenly lost confidence in life. Suddenly life has no goals. Suddenly went to the rooftop. I calculated that these two local tyrants competed for nearly 10 million each. At this time, when Susianer was speaking, a golden barrage appeared. This time, I will let you go for the sake of Teacher Miobi, but you'd better change your nickname. Obviously, Wang Ximen was very resentful of the nickname Dad of Scrambled Eggs with Tomatoes. I am the daughter of the richest man in the world. Do you want to be my father? Do you have the qualifications? The father of fried tomato and eggs, you are out of money, right? Wang Ximen was so angry that she trembled in the bedroom. Then 100 small TVs continued to be delivered, and the father of fried tomato and eggs followed closely. Susianer was angry. She controlled the mouse to mute the two people. After a while, she looked at Lan Xiao depressedly and said, "Why can't I mute them?" At this time, Lan Xiao had not yet reacted from the countless small TVs. When he heard Susiener's question, he subconsciously said, "They both opened the governor, and the governor of B station cannot be mute in the exclusive live broadcast room. What a setting. Super moderator, I know you are here, come out and work, ban these two people, and let people live broadcast. Myobi teacher is domineering. I like Myobi teacher's courage to treat money as dirt. I know that Myobi teacher wants to tell us a truth, the rich can only surrender to the powerful. Sure enough, this is a world for the power dogs. That's right, Lusuan. MDZZ. 30 seconds later, the two people competing for wealth were directly banned. Seeing this scene, Susiener felt comfortable all over, humming, "Okay, let's start." Susiener stopped abruptly. She suddenly remembered that she was going to live broadcast Resident Evil 7 tonight. Thinking of this, Susiener showed a forced smile under the mask. "That fried tomato and his father, do you want to continue competing for wealth? I can lift the ban for you." 2/4. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 285. Resident Evil 7 is the most popular game in the world recently, taking the world by storm nearly 2 months after its release. The most important thing is that Capcom broke through the previous graphics and the style of painting finally became normal. Of course, Capcom also announced in China that all of this is the result of Teacher Myobi. The change in painting style is inseparable from the innovation of Teacher Myobi, which also gave Susiener a certain degree of popularity around the world. Although Susiener is very famous in China, it has been developed domestically for a year and has not yet expanded overseas. Of course, some foreign friends were exposed to the wonderful style of painting in China. After spreading these to their own countries, they also became popular. However, the response has been relatively mediocre. Because in the eyes of foreigners, the previous muscle painting style is in line with their aesthetics. When Susiener found out about this situation, she bluntly said that Wei Quarren did not understand the beauty of the East. "Today, we are live broadcasting a game. It's Azalane, right? Teacher Myobi, the title of your live broadcast room is Azalane Official Promotional Live Broadcast. Do you want to play Azalane? By the way, what kind of game is Azalane? I'm a little curious. When will the beautiful girl one who a mirror you mentioned before, Mr. Myobi, be released? I've been waiting for it for so long. Actually, I have noticed the figure on the table a long time ago. It looks like the young girl version of Sujug. Teacher Myobi, please tell me, where can I buy this figure? Actually, I also noticed that this figure is a bit strange. Does the Suju singer have gun barrels and torpedoes on it? What the hell is this combination?" Susiener just said something and saw the barrage crashing like a torrent, filling the screen again, but she was too lazy to answer, but Lan Xiao would explain it when she saw the barrage. Of course, she was also confused about Azalane. Plus the staff reminded her, so she also avoided this topic. This makes people even more curious. This is simply a blatant concealment. Today, the game we are going to play is Resident Evil 7. Susiener said, swallowing instinctively, "So, today you just have to watch me play the game. Where's Azalane? Where's Azalane? Solve Azalane." Seeing that all the comments on the barrage were asking about Azalane, Susiener suddenly realized that this was one of the promotional methods of Station B. The title of the live broadcast and the figures were all about Azalane, but they just didn't say anything, which made the audience anxious. When their curiosity is endless, when the time comes a wave of explosive publicity is perfect. Susiener, who had an insight into Station B's promotional methods, felt calm at this moment. However, looking at the icon of Resident Evil, Susiener still felt weak. She couldn't help turning her head to look at Master Lan, How about you play this Resident Evil 7? It's okay. The official said this is a return to horror, so it's quite scary. MMP, return to horror. Return to what? Susiena remembered the Resident Evil games, which seemed to be action games. Although they also contained horror, combat was the theme. Why did they return to horror in Resident Evil 7? Of course, she wouldn't dare to play even an action horror game. Teacher Miyobi, let's start playing now. Lan couldn't help but remind him when he saw Susiena put the mouse on the Resident Evil icon but hesitated to click on it. Are you scared? It's so funny. Teacher Miyobi, if you're afraid, just say it. We can accept it if you change the game. Although I can't see Teacher Miyobi's expression, I can feel the fear in Teacher Miyobi's heart. Don't worry, Teacher Miyobi's game is not scary at all. Remember to choose the Madhouse mode when you get in. It is the simplest. Let's start playing from the simplest mode. The audience was obviously very keen. Seeing that Susiena had not opened the game, many people suddenly realized after hearing what Lan Xiao said. It seems that Teacher Miyobi is more afraid of this kind of scary games. This time, the audience was completely excited. People who were curious about Azalane before had their attention diverted at this time, and they all asked Susiena to quickly enter the game. Susiena was helpless and could only open the game. Now that the game was open, Susiena didn't hesitate and clicked to start the game. Choose easy or normal. Susiena looked at Mr. Lan, hoping that he would give her a suggestion. As for the lunatic asylum mode mentioned in the barrage, she couldn't find it at all, and even if she saw it, she would not choose it. Do you really think she is mentally retarded? The Madhouse mode is probably the hell level of difficulty. And after reading the barrage, she also knew that the Madhouse mode had to be played through once before this difficulty option would appear. Choose normal. Lan, not seeing this, answered directly, obviously not understanding what Susiena meant. Upon hearing this, Susiena glanced at Master Lan with disgust. Couldn't you see that I asked you to choose easy? Hearing this, Susiena could only choose the normal difficulty. After selecting the difficulty level, the scene on the computer screen changed, and what appeared in Susiena's eyes was the endless sea and blue sky. Looking at this scene, Susiena's tense mood relaxed. No matter how the game started, it would not be the same. It's too scary. Just when Susiena calmed down for a moment, a lady with her head tilted suddenly appeared. Hi, baby. Susiena suddenly trembled. She was startled by the sudden appearance of this woman. Mr. Lan burst out laughing. 233333333 Miyobi teacher, you are going to make me laugh to death. Inherit my Anthuabi. Damn, I was also startled, it appeared too suddenly. Shock add 1, if it wasn't Miyobi teacher who was live streaming, I would have left long ago. I am most afraid of watching horror movies and playing horror games. The barrage is transparent, please give a high energy warning. I have a hunch that tonight will be a sleepless night. Susiena ignored these barrages, or she had made up her mind not to communicate with them. Anyway, these fans are here to laugh at her. Also, this crappy game is scary from the beginning. Of course, it's mainly because the face just now was too close, and she was sitting very close to the computer, so she was suddenly startled. At this moment, Susiena's spirit was completely tense, staring at the screen tightly, for fear that this crappy game would scare her again. But Susiena thought too much. And the video at the beginning of the game, that is, the woman, should be the protagonist's wife. This person named Mia expressed her longing for the protagonist, player, and then the second video said something about deception, and then it stopped abruptly, leaving Susiena confused. Of course, if she knew the background story, she wouldn't be confused. At this time, Mia had been controlled, and had long lost her memory. Lan Xiao naturally wouldn't say it. After all, she still had endless aftertastes of the excitement of playing the game for the first time, So she thought it would be bad to spoil it since Susienner was playing this game for the first time. Of course, Lan Xiao actually wanted to see Susienner's reaction. That shiver just now was so cute. She could imagine that cute little face, which must have been scared pale just now. 3/4. The background information of Resident Evil 7 was posted to the work related. If you haven't played it, you can take a look at it. If you read the novel this way, you will have a stronger sense of immersion. The number of words is not too long, and the plot is quite attractive and not boring. It's best to take a look. 2333. Next, it's time for the little fairy to feel the horror. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 286. Chapter 278. Just play the game honestly, don't think about running away. The plot at the beginning of Resident Evil 7 is very simple and easy to understand. Ethan, the protagonist controlled by the player, who watched the second video, naturally embarked on the road to find his wife after seeing the video. It turned out that his wife was not dead, although she had been missing for 3 years. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. Looking at the protagonist driving the car on the computer screen, but only seeing his hands, Susienner gradually realized that something was wrong. Is this a first-person game? Yes. In order to make the game more intuitive and more immersive, Lan Xiao responded as a matter of course. And it's more terrifying and more scary. The barrage listened to Lan Xiao's words and added the sentence, which made Susienner's face twitch. The face under the mask was already frowning. Mr. Miyabi, you can control the character now. Oh. Susienner looked at the computer and found that the car had stopped. She could control the protagonist Ethan. How should I play now? Susienner coughed lightly and looked at the scene on the computer screen. Although the game showed daytime, the gloomy feeling was very strong. Moreover, this place was overgrown with weeds. Although there were roads, Susienner didn't dare to control the protagonist to run around. This kind of game would be GG if you didn't do it well, so she thought it would be better to ask someone who had played it before. However, Lan Xiao was very disrespectful and said bluntly, Mr. Miyabi, I think it's better to try this game yourself. Susienner rolled her eyes, didn't say anything, and didn't look at the barrage of comments. She directly controlled the character to walk along the path. I have to say that Resident Evil 7 is really good. The trees on both sides of the path are very realistic, and there are all kinds of flies and insects along the road, disgusting but real, and because it is a horror game, the whole picture is gloomy and very emotional. Of course, Susienner doesn't know that this is caused by Lan Xiao adjusting the brightness of the picture. In addition, it is a first-person perspective, which makes the nervous Susienner feel fully involved. But knowing that this is a horror game, Susienner didn't blink her eyes and was nervous, for fear that something would suddenly jump out. However, as she walked along the road, she came to the door of a large old house, and she didn't encounter any scary things, which also made her feel relieved. However, thinking of being scared at the beginning, she didn't dare to take it lightly. I wanted to control the protagonist to enter the old house, but the big iron door was locked with iron chains and I couldn't get in at all. Finally, Susienner saw a small path next to it and asked unwillingly, is there any way to get in here? No. By the way, don't you have any weapons? For example, rockets, cannons, laser tanks, etc. Where can I get them? Lan Xiao said with a smile, Miao Bai, the protagonist is just an ordinary person. Give up, Miao Bai. Miao Bai, don't struggle, hurry to the small broken house to feel the fear. Miao Bai, I know where the gun is. Go explore the house and you can get a gun. Go. Lan Xiao was unreliable, so Susiener looked at the bullet screen, hoping that one or two kind people would give her a spoiler. However, Susiener did find the spoiler, but she still had to go to the house mentioned in the bullet screen. Helplessly, Susiener could only control the protagonist to go to the small path. Playing a horror game, Susiener didn't know anything else, but she knew a little. That is to put away the curiosity in her heart, because many players are GG under curiosity. So many things on the road, even if she saw them from a distance on the computer screen, she would just stay away, she would not step forward at all. 2F*** cowardly. Myobi teacher, you are a coward. I give up, it took 7 or 8 minutes to walk this short distance, Myobi teacher, you should walk faster. Congratulations to the 3 cowards of B Station for adding another capable person. I don't know how long it took, anyway, when the fans felt that every second was like a year, Susiener finally controlled the protagonist to come to the front of the dilapidated house. Of course, Susiener found the driver's license of his wife, Mia, in front of the dilapidated house. Then he walked back and forth to investigate for a long time, but didn't find anything. Looking at the dark house inside, he swallowed his saliva and finally went in. There was no way, the time was dragged too long. According to the actual conversion, this section of the road is only more than 100 meters, but she controlled the game character to walk for nearly 10 minutes, I was a little ashamed. Arriving at the door of the house, Susiener closed her eyes and controlled the character to go in directly. As a result, the door behind her closed automatically. Ah, the sound of the door closing with a bang made Susiener scream, which scared the barrage. Then they saw Myobi teacher quickly controlling the character to open the door, and then heaved a sigh of relief and said dryly, haha, the weather is so good today. Puff. Hard. Myobi teacher, let's not be so startled, okay? I, who have played games, was scared by you and almost doubted my life. The voice is too delicate, I can't stand it. My humming social security. But as time passed, the barrage couldn't stand Susiener's slow progress, and some barrages began to spoil the story, saying that there was nothing exciting in the front. This made Susiener unhappy. The house management has banned those people who are spoilers for me. It doesn't matter if they are spoiled when watching anime, but they will be spoiled when playing games. According to Susiener's idea, that was to pass the live broadcast time in the evening, so that everyone would be happy, but these barrages actually gave her spoilers. Mr. Lan was also laughing a little at this time, and reminded in a low voice, Teacher Myobi, let's investigate the first floor first. Okay, Susiener laughed dryly. Knowing that he couldn't get through it, he could only bite the bullet and control the character to move forward. However, after entering the room, the entire field of vision was dark, with only a small area in front of him being bright. This perspective made she was extremely nervous, fearing that something terrifying would suddenly appear in the darkness next to her. As for the barrage saying that there is no high ability, she no longer believes it. She can't believe the barrage in anything. This is the conclusion she came to after her first live broadcast. She carefully explored the first floor and found that she was really not very capable. However, a cockroach crawled on her hand just now, which made her shrink back, goosebumps appeared on her skin, and she was startled. It's so cute. I really want to hold Teacher Myobi and play Resident Evil together. It will definitely be fun. 233,333 is timid, but he's cute. Teacher Myobi, don't be afraid, tens of millions of viewers are with you. Let's go to the second floor and have a look. Lan saw that Susiener was controlling the character to wander around on the first floor, and her expression was tense, a bit startled, so she had no choice but to remind her. No, Teacher Myobi's place is where the exit is. You just passed the stairs. Ahaha, really? Susiener laughed dryly. Lan next to him saw this and coughed helplessly. Teacher Myobi, you are too far away from the screen, and please stop leaning up. Only then did Susiana realize that she was already a little far away from the screen without realizing it. Although she could still control the character with the mouse, and her whole body was leaning stiffly on the chair. You're going too far, Mr. Lan. We still want to see Teacher Miyobi trembling. I laughed to death on the bed. I was a little scared at first, but Teacher Miyobi's cuteness completely suppressed the scary atmosphere of the game. I thought Teacher Miyobi was going to keep this posture until the end of the game, but Mr. Lan actually reminded me. Teacher Miyobi, don't think about running away. Just go to the second floor. 4/4. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 288. Susiana exhaled lightly, and relaxed her tense mood a little. She found that she couldn't be tense, otherwise, if any monsters appeared, she would definitely scare herself. However, she swore in her heart that she would ignore any promotional activities or live broadcasts from Bilibili in the future. This time, it was just because as Elaine interested her, but she didn't expect that the content of the live broadcast would deal a cruel blow to her body and mind. You know, she is most afraid of horror games. Because she had psychological trauma when she was a child. At that time, she was almost scared to death in the welfare home. It was a group of naughty children who scared her. When she grew up, those people made fun of her for this incident, which made her hate her. In addition, the older she gets, the less courageous she is, which caused her to be like this now. While thinking, Susiana controlled the protagonist Ethan, and gradually put these memories behind her. The most urgent thing was to finish this damn horror game. Lan Xiao coughed lightly beside him and said, "Meow by teacher, there is nothing on the second floor." Watching Susiana controlling the character to slowly go upstairs, and sometimes even stopping to look around, she felt helpless. She thought she was already cowardly enough, but she didn't expect that there were people who were even more cowardly than her. Of course, she thought so, but seeing Susiana's scared look, Lan Xiao felt it was very interesting. It was like her fans watching her videos, feeling her fear, that kind of fun that came from the heart. So although she said so, Lan Xiao actually wanted to see the scene where Susiana was scared. Especially since Meow by teacher's voice was so nice, the sound of her shouting was simply pleasing to the body and mind. I'm afraid the audience watching the live broadcast felt the same as her. Lan Xiao was right. Ever since Susiana couldn't control herself and screamed out loud, the barrage had long forgotten the main purpose of watching. Don't worry, everyone. I've played Resident Evil 7. With the courage of Teacher Miyobi, there will definitely be screaming benefits later. MMP, you are too dirty. I really want to know Teacher Miyobi's expression now. Lan Xiao, take off her mask while she is not paying attention. The barrage was refreshed very quickly. Lan Xiao looked at it from time to time, while Susiana didn't even look at it. She was completely immersed in the game, or it could be said that the first-person perspective of Resident Evil 7 is really very immersive. If there was no Lan Xiao next to her, letting her live broadcast alone, Susiana would have refused without thinking. When Susiana controlled Ethan to get the videotape on the second floor, she remembered the TV downstairs just now. It should be to play this videotape to trigger the plot. Thinking of this, Susiana went downstairs again carefully. Although she knew that there would probably be no scary things at the beginning of this game, what if? What if there are demons and monsters? He came to the TV without any danger and put the videotape in. As soon as the videotape was put in, the scene changed. Suddenly a head appeared in front of Susiana, causing her to let out a short cry and shrink back. This was completely subconscious behavior, but when she saw that it was a person, her face twitched and she wanted to curse. Without looking at the barrage, Susiana could feel that the barrage was definitely laughing at her. Lan Xiao covered his mouth and laughed secretly, and then said, "Mr. Miyobi, this videotape records the experience of 3 people in a previous program, in order to let players understand what happened before. Yes, Susiena responded, and Lan Xiao saw this and found that the other party was completely immersed in the game, controlling the cameraman Clancy Jarvis to follow the 2 plot characters in front. In the game, this videotape obviously recorded the process of these 3 people entering this haunted house. Judging from the words of the leader in front, this house should have been discussed on the internet, so these 3 people plan to record a video and post it on the internet for people to click and pay attention to increase its popularity. It's really asking for death. Susiena rolled her eyes. Usually, people who are looking for death are basically dead. Moreover, for the sake of the show effect, they even come to this haunted house at night. Isn't this a trick? Susiena thought while controlling the photographer Clancy to follow the 2 people, while complaining in her heart, obviously not knowing that she has been addicted to it. This is the charm of the game. However, compared with just now, she is not as weak as before. As for why? Naturally, there are 3 people now. 1 herself, and 2 people are leading the way in front. Anyway, even if there is danger, it is not herself who dies. At that time, she can run away. Obviously she forgot again that this is just a video. Then Susiena followed the bearded man named Peter. Although this guy despised herself, he seemed to be very brave, although people with great courage usually die quickly. Susiena manipulated the photographer to pretend to investigate the house with him. Of course, she must be at the back. Andre, what do you think? In the game, the bearded Peter turned his head and looked behind him while checking things. Susiena had a good impression of Andre. Just now, this bearded man scolded her, and Andre spoke for her. However, Peter called out, but did not hear Andre's response. Susiena was shocked, and then looked around and found that the Andre just now was gone. Andre? Andre? Following Peter's doubtful call, Susiena hurriedly followed him as he walked into the door. Then she looked everywhere for Andre, but there was no Andre at all. Seeing this, Susiena couldn't help but shout in fear, Andre! Clancy, do you know where Andre went? Peter was a little furious. How should I know? Susiena responded unhappily, and then her face suddenly froze. She seemed to be playing games, right? She should be playing games, right? Susiena secretly glanced at the side and found that Lan Xiao's face was flushed and he was covering his mouth. The smile in his eyes was obviously about to be suppressed. Laughing like crazy. Miobi teacher, you are playing a game, you are not Clancy. You don't need to respond to the words. Laughing wildly, Miobi teacher is so cute. Cover your face, teacher, I am embarrassed for you. Is there such a way to play? I laughed so hard, this is the first time I have seen people interacting with people in the game, there is no sense of disobedience. Susiena felt that she had lost all her face in this life. Meow, Miobi teacher Peter asked you to follow. Lan Xiao saw that Susiena was not moving, and couldn't help but remind her with a smile. Susiena laughed dryly, really? At this time, she didn't know what to say, so she could only follow Peter. Of course, now she not only has to be wary of monsters, but also prevent herself from immersing herself in it and interacting with people subconsciously. MMP, why is a game so real? Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 289. Go down first and help me take a heroic shot of a hero climbing down the ladder. In the game, when Susiena and Peter found a basement-like place together, they heard this bearded Peter say this. Susiena's face twitched, and she controlled Clancy to look at the dark place below, turning her head and asking Lan Xiao, is there any way to kill this guy and escape? Lan Xiao was stunned for a moment, and then said with a smile, Miobi, this is just a video, you must follow the plot. But this is obviously going to give yourself a head, Susiana wanted to pat her face to wake herself up, but she remembered that she was wearing a mask, so she didn't do it. However, she was a little confused by the previous few times. Although there was nothing scary, she was scaring herself, but she was also desperate, she just didn't dare to play horror games. This guy is obviously scared and doesn't dare to go down. Let me go down, pointing at the computer screen. The Peter who was shrinking in the corner made Susiana despise him. Don't worry, Teacher Miobi, as long as you go down, the plot of this videotape will end. That means I will definitely see something very scary when I go down, and then I will die. After hearing this, Susiana was even more afraid to go down. Teacher Miobi's thinking angle is tricky. I calculated that it has been almost an hour since I started playing this game. Teacher Miobi, I surrender to you. A game that takes 1 or 2 hours to complete, and you are still struggling at the beginning. Teacher Miobi, I have an idea for you, let's play all night. You don't know until you see the barrage, and you are shocked when you see it. Lan Xiao looked at the time and it was indeed almost an hour, and there was still a long time before the end of the live broadcast. But obviously if you play like this, if you die a few times later and reload the game a few times, this time is not enough. Thinking about it, Lan Xiao could only quietly remind, Miobi teacher, the following is the shot of Andre's death. You just need to watch it and it's over. Isn't it scary? I wanted to say it was scary, but Lan Xiao thought about it and had to smile bitterly. It's okay, just Andre's face is a little scary, then it's over. Since the other party said so, Susiana could only pinch her nose and go down. Of course, the barrage was not happy. They liked to see Susiana being frightened the most. Now Lan Xiao actually spoiled it. Susiana didn't care about the feelings of the barrage. After Lan Xiao's reminder, Susiana went down the ladder as Lan Xiao said. Fortunately, there was Lan Xiao's reminder, otherwise she would definitely be scared. Of course, even so, looking at Andre's tragic death, especially his unrecognizable face facing the camera, she was a little chilled. After that, the player opened the mechanism according to the prompts just received from the videotape, and then went down to the plot of the basement just now. Returning to the narrow entrance of the original basement, Susiana was frowning. Is there anything powerful? No. Relieved, Susiana went down the stairs. Is there anything powerful? No. Susiana found the hiding place of the protagonist's wife Mia, who was locked in the room with her back to him. Is there anything powerful? Susiana looked at the woman with her back to her in fear. Even if the door was locked, she didn't feel safe, she was afraid that she would be frightened if she turned around. No. High energy Lan Xiao almost vomited blood. Not only Lan Xiao, but the barrages were also about to vomit blood. Along the way, in just 1 or 2 minutes, Susiana asked 7 or 8 times, are there any high energy? If you can complete this game before 12 o'clock, I will dress up as a female RBQ for everyone. Me too. I will also join the organization of female dressers. MMP, I will come too. If you want to dress up as a female, just say it directly, why bother? Susiana glanced at the barrage and couldn't help but get angry, but after thinking about it, she still didn't say anything, she herself felt that it was dangerous. Miobi teacher, I will teach you how to play. Suddenly a colorful barrage floated by. Damn! Tomato Tycoon! Hey! Tomato Tycoon, weren't you banned by the super administrator? Can it be unblocked? 666666666. Miobi teacher, I can also teach you how to play. At this time, Tomato Scrambled Egg's father also sent a message, and the colorful barrage was extremely eye-catching. Before the audience of the barrage was shocked, the Tomato Scrambled Eggs were suddenly shocked. How did you get unblocked? Sorry, if you can unblock me, I can unblock you too. How is that possible? I asked the super administrator to keep you muted. Wang Ximen naturally didn't say this, but she couldn't believe it at home, and then she went to the super administrator with an angry face, but no matter how she poked the super administrator, the other party didn't respond to her. I'm so angry. Master, can you still play games? No, Wang Zhongxian smiled slightly, but don't forget that Capcom is my company. I have met the author of Resident Evil. He is a very talented creator. He also came to me to talk for a while when he was in Resident Evil 7, so I remember this plot. Moreover, the head of the testing team also conducted a market evaluation report on me at that time, saying that Resident Evil 7 may cause a good response worldwide, so I paid more attention to it. While talking, Wang Zhongxian typed, I heard that you asked the super administrator to continue to muted me. In an instant, the barrage was in an uproar. It feels like a big battle. I knew that Myobi teacher's live broadcast room was not simple. Move a stool and sit and watch the show. Myobi teacher seems to have not noticed this situation yet, still playing games 233, 3333. Wang Ximen was so angry, this guy was too arrogant, that's right. Your ID insulted me, who can you ban if you don't ban me? You can change your name. Wang Ximen couldn't stand it, she felt that she would get angry every time she argued with this guy. It would be great if my husband was here. He would definitely give me some advice to help me. Thinking of this, Wang Ximen quickly poked Susiener's QQ, of course, the old QQ. However, Susiener was playing games now, how could she pay attention to QQ? Of course, even if she didn't pay attention to QQ, she soon noticed the situation of the barrage, mainly because the barrage would sometimes send high-energy reminders to her, although there were also fake ones, most of them were well-intentioned. As a result, she couldn't help but get angry when she saw it. How did these two guys get released? Why did you two get out? Susiener said this, and then directly poked the super administrator. Mr. Myobi, these two guys are not easy to deal with, the super administrator responded with a bitter face. The father of the scrambled eggs with tomatoes is Wang Zhongxian. What the hell is Wang Zhongxian? The richest man in the world, the super administrator said painfully, and the scrambled eggs with tomatoes is his daughter. It's really not good for these two fathers and daughters to quarrel. Susiener was stunned. Wang Ximen was actually the daughter of the richest man in the world? No. The richest man in the world actually watched her live broadcast. No, did something unpleasant happen between Wang Ximen and her father? What should I do? Let them continue to quarrel. I will not live broadcast anymore. This. No, Susiener suddenly realized, isn't this great? If the two quarrel, she doesn't need to live broadcast Resident Evil 7. She can just drag it out until the end of time. Thinking of this, Susiener was no longer anxious and said slowly, let it be. Slowly quarrel, I am not anxious. 1/2. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 290. Will you change your nickname? Sorry, I've always used this nickname. Bullshit, I just asked the super administrator, you just registered this nickname. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. There is no such thing as first come first served in this world, I think you should know this truth, and swearing is uncultured, I suggest you swear less in the future. What's wrong with this rhythm? Why are you arguing and talking about moral principles? What's going on? Society. Damn, Myobi teacher is actually lazy. Although the barrages are concerned about the news of the two colorful barrages, they are more concerned about Susiener. Many people have long discovered that Susiener is no longer playing games, but secretly watching the barrages. Susiener's little thoughts naturally could not be hidden from these barrages. Originally, they came to watch Susiener's live broadcast. Now that Susiener is not broadcasting, how can they agree? They also want to watch Susiener play games and then listen to the screams of welfare, although sometimes they will be scared by Susiener's screams. Looking at the criticism and condemnation of the barrages, Susiener said nonchalantly, "I am communicating with the super administrator to ask him to ban these two people." You wait a little longer. Miobi teacher, don't pretend. I have been your fan for a year. Although you basically don't show up, we have seen the book through the surface. What book? It's the essence. But speaking of the book, when will the Susien series be finished? Susiener saw this barrage and answered directly, "Don't worry, I will release 2 chapters before the summer vacation to prove that I am not a eunuch." Ah! Susiener's answer shocked the barrages. Miobi teacher actually answered their questions directly. Then, "Mr. Miobi, when will the game Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope be released? I heard from my uncles that this game seems to be very pornographic and violent, and it is a game that makes people unable to get out of bed." What? There is such a game? Oh my god, erotic game? Is the news true? Damn. My expectations were worn out, and now I am looking forward to it again. Susiener hesitated for a while. Well, actually she was stalling for time, and then when the audience couldn't wait any longer, she slowly said, "Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope was already done, but because of the quality problem, I was not very satisfied, so I sent it back to redo it. The main reason was that I was not satisfied with the original painting, it was too rough. Let me show you a picture." As she said that, Susiener picked up her mobile phone and found the original painting she had drawn before in the album. Of course, it took a while to upload it to the computer, of course it was intentional. After that, after copying the original painting to the computer, double-click it to open it. So beautiful. This is every original painting in Miobi's game of this quality. That's right, Beautiful Girl Kaleidoscope is a 16+ game, so minors should not play it. Be careful of your body. And every original painting in this game is of this quality. Susiener showed everyone the interior scenery of the hotel where Xiaoyan, the protagonist of Kaleidoscope, went. The whole picture was extremely clear, and the sunshine, scenery, flowers, and plants, and a corner of the hotel were all beautiful and fantastic. It made tens of millions of viewers at this time amazed. It's really beautiful. Although there are no characters, this original painting alone makes them feel like they can't wait to play. Most of the people who follow and like Susiener are people who like otaku games, and they know that the games made by Miobi are also otaku games. They have never seen this kind of picture quality in other games. The most important thing is that this is a 16+ game. The otakus are completely excited, and even the female fans who chase the pen name Shuabai are curious. 16+ games. You should know that there are none in China. In addition to the problem of the painting style in the past, there was no such game at all. And some barrages felt that something was wrong. How could they play the game and now answer the barrage questions? The two colorful barrages were still arguing, the ordinary barrages were asking questions, and teacher Miobi was answering them. Lan Xiao next to him couldn't bear it, not to mention the ordinary audience. This live broadcast room is really too complicated. But now Susiener has to answer all questions, and the barrages will naturally start to answer questions. And Susiener took advantage of everyone's enthusiasm and turned off the game directly. Lan Xiao on the side was stunned. Not only Lan Xiao, but Chen Rui, who had been paying attention to this live broadcast, also held his forehead. But thinking that Susiener was scared just now, he didn't say anything. Looking at the two colorful barrages arguing there, he was helpless. Wang Zhongxian greeted him in advance and said that he would teach his daughter a lesson. He also said that his daughter would ignore him at other times, so he could only use Susiener's live broadcast room to talk. What else can Chen Rui say? Anyway, this live broadcast room is very complicated now, it makes him laugh and cry. Fortunately, after looking at the comments, many people are still wondering about the title of the live broadcast room and the strange figurine in front of Susiener's desk. Some people even ask whether this figurine is Sujug. In response to this question, Susiener saw it and smiled, "Of course it's Jug, it's just a little modified, you will be able to see it soon." This answer made the audience even more itchy. It made no difference whether Susiener said it or not. Of course, there are still many comments that are not happy. After all, they were just playing games. Why are they answering questions now? They want to watch Susiener play games. Susiener naturally ignored these comments, but answered questions while drawing comments. Anyway, compared to playing games, she still chose to speak and answer questions. There will be no new comics recently. Isn't Food Wars, Shokugeki no Soma still serialized? Bah, even if it's not drawn by me, it's serialized under my comic account. I always have a beginning and an end, and I don't like to open two accounts at the same time. Don't play games, don't talk nonsense. Hehe, LPL hasn't won the world championship yet, what's the point of dancing to the Pure Land? My voice is not good today, so I won't sing Sakura. Give me a reward and I'll tell you. While chatting, Susiener dragged the time, and finally saw that the computer time in the lower right corner was already 10 o'clock. She turned her head and looked at Lan Xiao in surprise. Is it 10 o'clock? Can I go off the air? When the fans heard this, they became noisy. Miobi teacher, keep chatting. Don't run away. MMP, didn't you just say that you will broadcast until 12 o'clock? There are still 26 hours until midnight, Miobi teacher, don't run away. Finish playing Resident Evil 7 before you leave. I'm dying if I can't hear Miobi teacher's voice. Miobi teacher, don't go. Lan Xiao saw this and whispered helplessly, Miobi teacher, the official said that the live broadcast will last until midnight, there are still 2 hours. Susiener said expressionlessly, my stomach is a little uncomfortable, I want to go back first. I don't want to listen, you are just a turtle chanting. I don't believe it, unless you take off the mask and let us see if you are pale and really uncomfortable. Take off the mask. Take off the mask. By the way, is Miobi teacher saying GG for this mask? I just went to Dobayo and saw that this mask costs more than 50 yuan. Miobi teacher, check the room before you leave. NMB. Susiener looked at the group of barrages and started to make a fuss again, and couldn't help cursing inwardly. However, after seeing the comments about the room check, Susiener's eyes lit up. How about this, let's check the room and then leave. I'm sleepy. Usually I would sleep at this time, but I really can't hold on any longer. Chen Rui looked at Susiener shamelessly playing the emotional card in the live broadcast room, and couldn't help sighing. Fortunately, the purpose of the live broadcast has been achieved. When the time comes, the popularity of Azalane should rise quickly. 2 halves. Transformed into a comic book artist. Author, Miao by Shen Wu. Chapter 291. Although Chen Rui was helpless, he was quite satisfied with this live broadcast. The number of viewers of the live broadcast exceeded that of all live broadcast platforms. The number of viewers on other live broadcast platforms dropped sharply. Apparently, a large part of it was due to the rewards from Wang Zhongxian and Wang Zimen. Then they saw Susiener playing Biochemical. Crisis 7 will not leave. Obviously Susiener's reaction when playing Biochemical 7 is really interesting and makes people laugh. Of course, people can't help but complain, I can't finish the game without even finishing the beginning. It's really too timid. But thinking that she was a girl, the audience naturally chose to forgive teacher Myobi. Of course, fans are very satisfied with Susiener's answer to their questions. In the past, there was no way to talk to Susiener, but this time they thought the live broadcast was just like the last time. Teacher Myobi didn't say a word and the live broadcast was over. How boring that would be. Fortunately, this time teacher Myobi was finally willing to answer their questions. Of course, the price is that Mr. Myobi shut down Resident Evil 7, although it is a pity that Mr. Myobi cannot play to the end. Fans are still very satisfied with this live broadcast. There were rich people's fights, teacher Myobi's screaming benefits and some news revealed, as well as the figures on the table and the Azalane title, all of which made fans satisfied with this live broadcast and at the same time curious. What is Azalane? Is it a game? Software? Or something? Does the strange nine-singer dome on the table have something to do with Azalane? There are a lot of questions in my mind. Of course, despite the doubts, the live broadcast will still go on. And teacher Myobi has already said that he will leave after checking the room. So fans still cherish this time very much. Looking at Susiener wearing a mask, many people sighed. The last live broadcast was nearly a year ago, enough to know how difficult it is to meet teacher Myobi. Moreover, this guy has no self-consciousness about being an idol. He does not log in to Weibo and does not reply to the QQ group IT. He is just like a corpse. Fans like him call themselves zombie fans on Weibo. Of course, the most important thing is that teacher Myobi's update speed is also very slow. Except for Spirit of the Shokugeki, there is no news about new works. The news about Suxian series has just been received, but there are still many fans who want to read the orthodox comics. They hope that Mr. Myobi can draw another comic that can compete with Book of Life and Death and Your Name. Naturally, Susiener didn't know what the fans were thinking. She just wanted to finish the live broadcast and go home. But when it comes to ward rounds, Susiener looked through the live broadcast platform of Station B and found that there seemed to be nothing to check, mainly because Station B is a website that has risen recently, and its main focus is on ACK. Recently, it mainly focuses on broadcasting for Sujug. It is obviously impossible for them to develop a live broadcast platform. Don't have that energy. Therefore, there were no interesting live broadcasts at Station B. Susiener thought of it and went to other live broadcast platforms to check the ward. After checking, she quickly downloaded the broadcast. With this in mind, Susiener went to the Douyu live streaming platform. After all, Douyu and Panda are the two largest live broadcast platforms in the country. When Chen Rui saw this scene, he thought for a while and decided not to call Susiener. If there was any negative impact, he would go to the senior management of the live broadcast platform to apologize. In the live broadcast industry, anchors are not allowed to conduct house checks across platforms. Also, on local live broadcast platforms, the logos of other live broadcast platforms are not allowed to appear, but obviously Susiener didn't know about this at all. In other words, she has no experience as an anchor at all, so she naturally doesn't know. Some viewers do know, but they are afraid that the world will not be in chaos and they will not remind them. In addition, last time teacher Myobi seemed to have had a conflict with Matcha, one of Douyu's anchors. This time they naturally wanted to watch the show to see if teacher Myobi would cause any trouble again. While the barrage was playing, Susiener clicked on Douyu. Teacher, please check the 55-year-old apartments, the ones from Daeun Club, or the ones that are stupid. Yes, these guys take advantage of how bored their fans are by checking the rooms, so they can see how powerful our princess knights are. Oh, is this the first expedition of the Princess Knights? I can't wait. And teacher Ma. Susiener looked at the barrage and her face darkened. I'm telling you, just do the ward rounds. Don't use the barrage. Show some respect to other anchors. She just came here out of interest, and she really didn't want to cause trouble to others. In other words, if it causes trouble for others, Susianer will not do it if it accidentally causes trouble for herself. Of course, the main reason was that Susianer felt that ward rounds would give people a feeling of disrespect. However, what Susianer doesn't know is that some small anchors really like to have big anchors check their houses, because it will bring them a lot of attention. Some small anchors will even go to big anchors privately to request them to check their houses. And Susianer has tens of millions of viewers, not to mention the small anchors. People like PDD, 55 Kai, Teacher Ma, and Dayun Club definitely have no objection at all. Tens of millions of viewers. How much popularity does this bring? Who would dislike someone who is more popular? And internet news spreads very quickly. Many DouYu anchors have already learned in their fan groups that Susianer is coming to check the ward, with tens of millions of viewers. This news is exciting, and many small anchors hope that Susianer will favor them. Of course, there are also many big anchors who don't know what emotions to use to face it. They have always checked other people's rooms. Of course, there are other emotions. Among these tens of millions of viewers, there are many who are their fans. They just went to watch it when they heard that there was a fight between the rich on Bilibili, but they never came back. However, Susianer entered the DouYu page and suddenly made a ha sound. She stared at the otaku field category at the bottom of the homepage and made a sound of task. DouYu really keeps pace with the times. Now the wind of the second dimension is blowing in the country, and act culture is gradually entering people's eyes. It actually opened a second dimension category on the live broadcast platform. This made Susianer curious. She wanted to know what the difference was between the second dimension live broadcast category in this world and the previous life. Clicking in casually, she saw the title of the first one. Demon King, the passionate moment of gayness between two transvestite gays. I am a lowly control too. Demon King? Susianer knew the Demon King. She had heard of him when she was in the ACT circle in her previous life, but she didn't like watching live broadcasts, so she just knew there was such a host and rarely learned about him. What really made her understand was that the other party cosplayed as her senior, that is, Kazuma Jayaka Yutaa. The picture was circulated on various social platforms, which made her curious and followed it. Finally, she went to the live broadcast room to watch it. The other party was a very beautiful girl, and the quality of the cosplay was very high. Of course, the high appearance is the main thing. However, the ACT trend in this world has just begun, so the reputation of the Demon King is not very loud in this circle, and few people know about it. Just look at his popularity. There are only hundreds of thousands of viewers, and the number of followers has barely exceeded 50,000. The Demon King in the previous life was almost breaking 1 million followers. Thinking of this, Susianer clicked in. And seeing Susianer's actions, most of the fans followed and clicked into this live broadcast page. When Susianer entered the live broadcast page, she was shocked. No. Shameless. Today is the only update, thinking about a plot.